In this lesson we're going to talk about simplifying complex fractions. So what a complex fraction is it's basically just where you have fractions within fractions. Okay, and so taking a look at the first example, 3/4 over 6/7. The key to complex fractions is that we recognize that this big fraction bar between the top fraction and bottom fraction is the same thing as a division sign. Right? We've talked about that a little bit before, that that's all a fraction bar really is a division sign. So because we have that understanding, what we can do is we can rewrite this problem. Instead of 3/4 over 6/7, we can write 3/4 divided by 6/7. And then once we do that, it becomes just a 3.7 problem, a division problem. And so we know from here we multiply by the reciprocal or the flip of the second fraction, and then we do any reducing that is possible. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, 6 divided by 3 is 2, and so we end up with the answer of 7/8. Now sometimes in our complex fraction we'll have things that we need to do on top and on bottom before we're actually able to do this process of turning it into a division problem. So of course in this one we're going to subtract 1/8 from 3/4 and subtract 1/6 from 2/3 before we introduce the division sign. So let me go ahead and rewrite this so I have a little more room to work here. So on both the top and bottom, since I have subtraction that I need to do, I better find a common denominator for each one. So the least common denominator for the top is of course 8. The least common denominator for the bottom is of course 6. And so we get to leave the fractions we're subtracting off alone, because they already have the least common denominator. But here in 3/4 I'll multiply the top and bottom by 2, and in 2/3 I'll multiply the top and bottom by 2 as well. So now I have 6/8 minus 1/8 and 4/6 minus 1/6. Alright, so let me continue things over here, so I'm running out of room down below. So what I end up with is 5/8 over 3/6. Now a little tip I want to just mention to you is try to make the middle fraction bar a little bit bigger than the other fraction bars, because if I was to not do that, I want to kind of just show you. If I made all the fraction bars basically the same size, I think we can agree that that's kind of a difficult thing to process visually. Whereas if I make that fraction bar larger than the other two fraction bars, it becomes a little easier to process. I can easily see, here's my fraction on top, here's my fraction on bottom. Alright, so we're pretty much where we were in the first example, but I would say that it's a good idea, if you notice that one of your fractions can be reduced, go ahead and do that. Make life a little bit easier. And so we'll rewrite that as 5/8 over 1/2. But now we know we can turn this to a division problem, so it's 5/8 divided by 1/2, which turns into 5/8 times 2 over 1, and then I know I can cancel my 2 and my 8, so 8 divided by 2 is 4, 2 divided by 2 is 1, and so we end up with a fraction of 5/4 as our answer.